You are Locked On Yankees POSTCAST. Part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right. Apparently hangovers are real, and sometimes they're quite brutal. Yanks tried to sweep Seattle this afternoon. They lost. Final score 3-2. Not much offense from either side. Bombers now head south for Oakland. And the final 3 games there for the Yanks ever. Remember, next year we're going to Sacramento for the A's. Regardless, that's a topic for another day. Yanks lose 3-2. Hello, everybody. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. If not, glad we get the chance to know each other. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. Also worthy of note, you can follow me on X at Jay Berman. That's Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Yankees postcast, both on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. The postcast gives you a place to hang out every single Yankees game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We'll chat everything Bombers offense or lack thereof for a second consecutive game. We'll discuss the performance of Clark Schmidt, who pitched well but didn't go deep. What else is new? We'll set you up, Yanks and A's. We talked about the final series ever in Oakland between the two. And, of course, we'll get you set for the rest of the regular season. All that coming up on the postcast. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5, get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, as we said, a 3-2 loss to the Mariners, not much offense. Seattle scored 3 times in the very first inning after a monster Jason Dominguez error, and we'll get to Dominguez's defense in just a bit. Yes, he did play left field tonight or today, but again, a couple of errors this series for Dominguez. We'll have to talk about his defense. That opened the floodgates, despite the fact that Clark Schmidt really wasn't his fault. 3 runs, and then Mariners, they never really looked back. Jazz Chisholm Jr., it's a 2-run homer in the top of the 3rd. And that was it for the Yankees offense, and that was really it for Seattle's offense as well. Again, 3-2 the final score. That's a night after 2-1. All right, as we said, Jazz with the home run. We'll get to him in a bit. Is he starting to heat up? That would be huge. Again, no sweep for the Yanks. The magic number to clinch the division coming into today's game was 6. It remains at 6 because they lost, did the Yankees. And the Orioles, we'll get to them in a second, won, finally. 9 games remain after today. 3-game series. 3 in Oakland, starting Friday night. We'll get to that. Then 3 in Baltimore, against Baltimore in New York. And then 3 in New York against the Pirates. So again, 3 with Baltimore and 3 with Pittsburgh to wrap up the regular season as the Yankees wrap up the regular season at home, again, with 6 games. 3 against Baltimore and 3 against Pittsburgh. The Orioles finally won a game. As we said, they beat San Francisco today 5-3. That was earlier this afternoon. A walk-off home run from first baseman Anthony Santander. So entering play today, the Yanks' lead in the division was 4.5. Well, now it's down to 4 after the loss to Seattle. So the Yankees are now 4 up on Baltimore in the division. Worthy of note, since July 9th, the Yanks have gained 7 games in the standings on Baltimore. It was 8, but they lost, obviously, a game in the standings today due to Baltimore's win and the Yankees' loss. So, again, it's 7 full games they've picked up on the standings to Baltimore since July 9th. Yanks are 29-19 in their last 47 games. Yeah, that seems like a pretty good sample size, and it is. Worthy of note, it's the best record in the American League since that point. Again, the last 8 games, 29-19 are the Yankees. We talked about Jazz, and we talked about the possibility of him getting hot. He hit his 23rd home run of the season. He's been slumping of late. This obviously helps. It was his 10th home run of the, as a Yankee this season. Unfortunately, It was his first since August 28th in Washington against the Nationals. He tends to hit home runs in bunches. Again, his 23rd of the season, his 10th as a Yankee, and his first since August 28th in Washington. Now, the home runs are usually reserved for Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. However, today Judge received an intentional walk, his 20th intentional walk this season. He's now 3 shy of the Mix record of 23. Again, Mickey Mantle was intentionally walked 23 times. That's a Yankee single season record. It would seem like a lot to get 3 more, even 4 more for Judge. But again, he's close. At the very least, he's got second place for that record. All right, as we said, the Orioles lost. The Orioles won. They beat San Francisco 5-3. Walk-off home run for Anthony Santander. So the Yanks lead in the division, which was 4.5 at first pitch, now down to 4 because of the Baltimore win, and also worthy of repeating, since July 9th, the Yanks have gained 7 games in the division on Baltimore. All right, we need to get the Martian question in here. Obviously, he can hit 2 more hits for Jason Dominguez today, despite the fact that he's still hitting under 200. You could see he's got pop in the bat. The question is the leather. And we've seen a couple of drops. One he didn't touch. Today he did touch it and just flat out dropped it. So 2 atrocious plays in the field from Dominguez. The question now is, this is really going to affect that postseason lineup. A couple of days ago, we discussed this, where it seemed like it was going to be Dominguez in left, Judge in center, and Stanton at DH. Well, Giancarlo Stanton has sat out the last 2 games. He played today, went 0 for 4, struck out 3 times, now hitting a cool 231 on the season. Again, 3 Ks, was lucky to make contact in his 4th at bat. Otherwise, it would have been a sombrero. Okay, so we figured Stanton would be the automatic DH in the postseason. I'm questioning that now. After just 3 short days, 2 of which Stanton didn't even play, and then the last of which featured 3 strikeouts, really feeble at bats from Stanton. So let's say this. Does Aaron Judge DH Dominguez in center, the stronger of his 2 outfield positions, and Verdugo in left? Or, that's option A. Option B, Judge in center, which seems likely, Dominguez in left, Stanton DH, which is what we talked about a couple of days ago. Or is there no Dominguez at all? Stanton at DH, Verdugo in left, and Judge in center. So lots of combinations of the 3 that Aaron Boone's going to have to decide really over the next week and a half, and then obviously when the postseason starts. Yes, the postseason should feature home games, hopefully. At this point, you would say the odds are the Yankees are going to get home games. The question now is, do they clinch the division? As we said, the magic number was 6 coming into today. It's now 6 because the Yankees did not win today. They lose again 3-2. As for the starting pitching, Clark Schmidt, he does Clark Schmidt things once again. He throws 5 innings, which is basically the norm for Clark Schmidt. 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned because of the Dominguez botched play in left field. He struck out 7, did walk 3 through 99 pitches. Season ERA now 2.37. So again, Clark Schmidt following the script. 13 starts for Schmidt coming into today. 3 or fewer runs in every start. We'll update it in real time. It's now 14 starts for Clark Schmidt. 3 or fewer runs in every start. And today was only 1 earned run because of the error by Dominguez. But again, 3 or fewer. 7 starts on the road coming into today. A 5-2 record with an ERA of 1.34. Well, he lowered that today with just 1 earned run. He gets the win. Takes the loss, despite 5 innings of just 1 earned run. It was his third start back from the IL. And again, what you're going to get from Schmidt, not a lot of mileage out of that arm, innings-wise, certainly pitches-wise, but you're also not going to get a blowout in any way. So that's what you want from your starting pitcher, keep you in the games. And if the Yankee offense can pick up a la Jazz, well, maybe things will be playoff fun. We'll have to wait and see. All right, when we come back, we will discuss some possible injuries. That's right, possible injuries to a key member as well. All right, for most, spending $2,000 or more on a rookie card isn't, well, it's not in the cards. But here's something that'll perk you up thanks to slab packs from arenaclub.com. It's possible to score gem mints for a fraction of their retail price. Arena Club is the only repack that gives real value, a competitive view of all possible cards, and clear hit rates on each one. Arena Club slab packs are fully transparent. After your pulls are revealed, they're immediately placed in your showroom for safekeeping, selling, trading, or auction. The Arena Club grading process is accurate, fast, and transparent. And whether you're buying, selling, trading, or displaying, Arena Club is the card collecting platform you just have to check out. Right now, you can get 10% that off your first slab pack or card purchase. Go to arenaclub.com/LockedOnMLB. Use the code LockedOnMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB. That's arenaclub.com/LockedOnMLB with code LockedOnMLB for 10% off your first purchase. All right, as we said, some possible injuries for the Yankees. We'll take it in order. Jake Cousins left in the sixth inning after just 11 pitches. And obviously, it doesn't need to be said, this would be a huge blow to that bullpen. He's been real good. The Yanks called it a right pec tightness. Again, right pectoral tightness, which is obviously never good for a pitcher. But again, he left in the sixth inning after just 6 pitches, pardon me, not 11 pitches, 6 pitches, 5 for strikes, recorded just 1 out, struck that guy out. You didn't really see him twitch or lean over in pain or anything like that. In fact, the broadcast, Michael Kay and Jeff Nelson were surprised he was being taken out. You never know at this point if it's for precautionary reasons or if he was truly in a lot of pain. Didn't look like it. And we certainly don't want to speculate. But again, Jake Cousins out of that bullpen rotation would be a killer. As for Juan Soto, well, we saw what happened late in the game. A heck of a catch against the right field wall. He slid into the wall. It looks like his left knee braced, or at least broke the impact from the wall. He was down for a couple of minutes. The entire Yankee infield and outfield runs to his help, I guess. He is okay. I'm sure it's a bruise, a knee bruise. He did remain in the game for 2 more innings, playing defense, playing right field. So again, those are injury concerns. Hopefully one is less impactful than the other, meaning the Soto, probably just a bruise. But Jake Cousins, there's real concern there. That would be quite the weapon for the Yankees to lose in the bullpen. As we said, the magic number to clinch the division is now 6. That after the Orioles win and the Yankees lose. Yankees lose 3-2. Orioles win 5-3 in a walk-off home run. As we said, the Yanks are 29-19 in their last 48 games. And it's worthy of note and worthy of repeating. Why? Because it's the best record in the American League. And roughly 50 games ago or 2 months ago, we were concerned about the direction of the Yankees this season, despite the good record from April and May. We know about the lull in the middle of the season, as is every baseball season with very few exceptions. There are peaks and valleys, and there's been ups and downs for the Yankees this season. It seems like despite the loss today, we are in one of those ups, if you will. We are one of those peaks. And hopefully the Yankees are riding hot into the postseason. Yes, we have to get there. We clinched that yesterday. We now have to clinch the division. We want some home field advantage in the postseason. Yanks still have the best record in the American League. Cleveland, by the way, clinched today. So they are next. Milwaukee clinched yesterday, the division. The Yankees clinched yesterday, a postseason berth. The Indians clinched today, the division. So the Indians, as expected, or at least for the last couple of months, they've been real good, as expected, have clinched their division. All right, a couple of topics we need to go over and that we briefly discussed, and that's the Martian question. And obviously, who's going to play left field, who's going to play center field, and who's going to DH when the postseason begins. I'll say this. I'm not quite sure that this is going to be a casting call the next week and a half, meaning I'm not exactly sure that if Dominguez plays well, he gets in or doesn't get in. I think that's already been decided, to be honest. So if we see the lineup the next 5 to 6 days, I have a feeling it's going to be a mixed lineup every single day. We will not see the same lineup in consecutive days. And why? Well, the offense really isn't clicking with very few exceptions. We've seen that the last 2 nights. The Yankees have scored 4 runs in 2 nights. They struck out 14 times today. They struck out 15 times yesterday. So in about 20 hours, they struck out 29 times. Pitiful. Just woeful. That needs to get better. But again, Clark Schmidt pitched well. Cousins only threw that 6-pitch outing. We did see Tim Hill, an inning and 2/3, 2 walks, a K, did not allow a run. And then we saw our old friend Clay Holmes, who, of course, is fresh off another blown save. What else is new? In fact, we could say he's fresh off a blown save, a record 13 times. That, of course, ties Dave Righetti for most blown saves, Goose Gossage for most blown saves in a season, all 3 with the dubious distinction of blowing 13 games in a season. Regardless, Holmes was back on the hill today. He pitched the 8th inning, and he got through it. A 13-pitch inning, did walk a batter, but did not allow a run or a hit. Didn't strike out a batter either. But again, the pitching has been pretty good. It's the offense that needs to kick it in gear, with the exception really of Judge and Soto. But that's the way it's been all season long. As we talked about, we have a 1 through 4 set in stone now. And hopefully, either Glaber or Austin Wells can get hot. And then we have a 1-4 combo. Obviously, Soto and Judge have claimed the 2 and 3 spots respectively. Glaber's been good in the leadoff spot. Wells has been great in the cleanup spot. Who knows from there? Does Stanton play? Does Dominguez play? Dominguez is not going to play left field in the postseason. We saw that this series in Seattle. Would he play center and have Judge DH and put Verdugo in left field and Stanton to the bench? All questions that we need to figure out over the next week and a half. And then obviously after a couple of days off to start in October, right into the postseason. And hopefully it comes with a division crown as well. Okay, we will talk about those injuries one more time. We'll also talk about the clinch hangover and if it's real. They lost the game, so some would suggest that it is real. The offense has been slumping of late anyways. So who knows? We'll try and decipher it all. All right, you've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Well, we've got something a little different for you today. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and all you can cancel at any time if that's not enough. Be sure to check out FanDuel's Profit Boost in the app. Use it for FanDuel's Double Your Winnings for all of Sunday 9:15. Pre-game moneyline bets. Profit Boost will be live starting 9:12. View your account page now to learn more about your boost. Just visit FanDuel.com. Download America's #1 sports book. That is FanDuel. All right, Yanks magic number to clinch the division is now 6. It was 6, but the Orioles won and the Yankees lost. A 3-2 loss to the Mariners in Seattle. Yanks failed to sweep. Call it a clinch hangover, if you will. Kudos to most of the Yankees for starting today and playing well. That's a quick turnaround, especially after a night of champagne and Budweiser. What a combo. Regardless, good job by most of the Yankee starters to get right back in there. A day game after a night game. Remember, that's a 1 o'clock game after an extra inning game. So very difficult spot for the Yankees. And kudos to them for all getting in there. Now, the offense still hasn't clicked. That needs to pick up. Obviously, we're not looking at Aaron Judge or Juan Soto. But regardless, thanks to that combination of a Baltimore win and a Yankee loss, the magic number remains at 6. Don't forget, with the Yankees now up 4 games in the division on Baltimore, after the Oakland series, we head back home to New York for 3 with the Orioles. The Orioles' goal in the next couple of days, really the next 3 days, is to get within 3 of the Yankees to make that series worth, or at least the division, worth something, a pennant race worth something. If the Yankees go into that series up 4 or more, well, then the division is over, so it doesn't matter. Point is, we talked about that series weeks ago, if not months ago, about how important it would be, about how the schedule makers struck gold there, putting the Yankees and the Orioles in a series, the second to last series in New York of the regular season. So kudos. But look what's happened over the last 2 weeks. Yanks got hot. Orioles can't hit their way out of a paper bag. And just like that, as we said, let me get the exact stat. Since July 9th, the Yanks have gained 7 games in the standings on Baltimore. So that's 2.5 months of baseball, and the Yanks have picked up 7 games on the Orioles. Again, point is, that series might not mean anything right now, which is truly remarkable considering where we were. All right, could Jazz possibly be getting hot? We talked about his home run on the 10th home run of the season as a Yankee, his 23rd overall, his first since August 28th. This seemed to be a home run, another typical regular season home run. However, it wasn't. They failed to mention this on the broadcast, but I think it's worthy of repeating. Hasn't hit a home run in September yet. Now, look, the Yankees don't look to Jazz for home runs, but let's be honest. Everyone's a home run hitter these days with very few exceptions. He now has 23, so he's going to hit 25 or more. He's a home run hitter. So it was a drought. It was an Aaron Judge-like drought. Well, he took care of that today with 1 swing, and it almost brought the Yankees back. That made it 3-2. That was in the 3rd inning, and the rest is history. Not much offense at all. Logan Gilbert was good. He gets the win, just his 8th of the season. 5 1/3, 2-arm, but he struck out 9. You knew he was going to strike out a lot of Yankees today. The Yankees have been in one of those funks where they just can't keep up with the sweeper, specifically guys like Giancarlo Stanton, who was flailing all day. Gilbert, as we said, 5 1/3 through 97 pitches, lowered his ERA on the season to 3.24. And looks like Seattle's going to fail to make the postseason, which is good for everybody else in the American League because that is one heck of a rotation. Brian Wu got roughed up by the Yankees on Monday night, but he's been pretty good. Logan Gilbert, been pretty good. Bryce Miller was pretty good. Mariners have good pitching. Problem is they don't hit, and they haven't hit for a while, even after the additions of Justin Turner and Randy Arozarena. But again, not the Yankees' concern at this point. 6 more wins, or a combination of 6 wins and Orioles losses, and the Yankees will claim yet another division title. We told you yesterday, the 59th time in Yankees history they've clinched a playoff berth. A lot more than any other franchise in the sport. It is truly amazing. 7 of the last 8 years. Obviously, they did not make the postseason last year, did the Yankees, but we've changed that already. We got a week and a half left. 3 games in Oakland with a day off tomorrow. Pardon me, the series begins tomorrow in Oakland. So 3 in Oakland, 3 home with Baltimore, 3 home with Pittsburgh, couple of days off, right into the postseason. All right, thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. Now go check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has got it all covered every single day. You can find the link to Locked On MLB in the description, so you don't need to search. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And before we get out of here, want to mention our partners in crime over at Locked On Yankees. That's, of course, Stacey Gatsoulias and Brian McKeon. They handle all the stuff again at Locked On Yankees. They're the best. Follow, subscribe, enjoy. Yanks lose to the Mariners, 3-2 the final score. Jazz Chisholm Jr. hits a home run, but that was basically it as Logan Gilbert shut down the Yankees' bats. Yankees struck out 15 times yesterday, 14 more times today. We haven't even hit the 24-hour mark since pitch one from yesterday. Regardless, Seattle's now behind us. On to Oakland. We'll be with you again from Oakland as the Yanks get closer to the division. My name is Jay Berman, Jayberman. Until then, have a wonderful night.